It's DTS 161, and we're talking about the PC beta, giving us a brand new map, but some unfortunate restrictions on streaming.
You're listening to Destiny, the show.
Welcome to Destiny, the show, the Destiny news podcast that keeps you the guardian ahead of the curve in the world of Destiny. I am BBKDRAGOON, joined as always by my great co-host Ditty, and I'm going to throw him off guard with a question he's not expecting. What was the favorite meal you had this week?
Oh my gosh, favorite meal I had this week. Let me think about that for half a second. We made pizza. Oh my goodness. So Trader Joe's, they sell pizza dough that you can just buy, right?
Yeah.
So they have this herb and garlic dough that you can buy. So we, heat up the oven. We're doing healthier pizza these days. Pizza's not healthy in and of itself, but we put olive oil on instead of the red sauce or white sauce. And then we put fresh mozzarella pearls, which are the little drops or dots. And then we put basil and then tomato on top. So it's like a margarita pizza, and it is fantastic.
I love Trader Joe's. We don't have any close by, but so much good stuff you can buy from there. I had a pizza yesterday, Ditty. It's a gluten-free crust, and guess what? It tasted like cardboard. The pizza part was great, but gluten-free crust, I have yet to stumble upon one where you just don't leave disappointed to some degree. But anyway, this week we get to talk about the Destiny 2 PC beta. There were some interesting tidbits about the streaming and game capture side of things. In an effort to prevent cheating, Bungie is placing some restrictions on how applications can interface with the PC version of Destiny 2. Very controversial, and we'll dive into that very soon. A lot of press material is coming out for Destiny 2 that we'll touch on, some trials information today, a new limited edition PlayStation 4 Controller that's available in a few countries, some great news about PC DLC not being delayed, and finally Gamescom closely approaching and Bungie being in attendance. So let's hop into the news. So Ditty, we noted that trials will be 4v4 this time around for Destiny 2. We've yet to see any real footage or any real information. However, an interview released this week in which lead PvP designer, I think it was Lars Bakken, said that trials this time is different and that they believe players will be blown away when they see the changes. I have no idea what that indicates, but I am glad to see the emphasis on trials because, let's face it, that is the lifeblood of Destiny streaming of the last, what would you say, 18 months?
Yeah, I mean, every Friday, right? Streamers doing trials runs. And when they say blown away, that piques my interest because it's like, those are some brave words these days from Bungie.
Exactly. Yeah, there's treading on thin ice in a lot of areas, it feels like. And so with trials, get it right. Don't mess this one up. I am hoping for one big thing, Ditty, with Destiny 2, and that is with this new hybrid network solution, which is still peer-to-peer, but interfaces more with dedicated server elements for the physics. I just hope they can prevent the DDoSing madness. I have seen so many of the larger streamers getting frustrated that come Friday, they're getting kicked offline match after match after match, and the bans aren't going out fast enough from Bungie's end of things to resolve. I mean, that's a huge problem. In 2017, gamers shouldn't be experiencing that.
No, I mean, it's definitely way too common these days, like you said, but hopefully they're taking some new security measures to prevent those types of things. Obviously, the DDoSing is its own beast, but there are a few other areas that they can prevent things as well.
Yeah, that is probably 30 FPS on console I can live with, but man, I have been stewing in sadness over no dedicated servers, dude. I know we got to try the new hybrid system in the beta, and I would say it definitely felt better, but there were still moments of teleportation behind walls, which happens on dedicated servers too. It just usually behaves a little bit differently. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we'll see how things are working 8 months down the line.
Yeah.
10 months down the line, once it's not a fresh new thing.
And once the population goes down quite a bit, right? When a new game comes
Settles.
out. Yeah, you're seeing just
I would say
huge
settles in
numbers.
its normal amount. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So retail promotional material are showing up in GameStops and other stores around the country. There was a cardboard kill tracker ghost stand that looked super awesome. I remember when you used to work at GameStop, and did Epos ever work at a GameStop? I can't remember if he did
I believe
as well.
he did. Yes.
Yeah, they would come home with those materials sometimes. So
Yes.
I would leverage that relationship if I had it and be like, hey, can I get a 3D kill tracker ghost cutout? That'd be really, really cool.
I got like a 5 foot high ODST cardboard cutout when
Yeah.
Halo 3 ODST was new.
Yeah.
That's around the time I was at GameStop, so I got to bring one of those home. My parents were like, where are you gonna fit that? It barely fit in my car, and I was 16, 17 years old at the time. I'm like, this is so cool.
You're
And then
just
I figured
smiling
out-
ear to ear driving with this giant ODST in the back seat.
Yep, exactly.
Along the lines of more promotional materials, Mega Constructs has their new Destiny sets coming out. And we can sort of infer some interesting tidbits from one of the sets that has Cade sneaking into a Cabal dropship. And it had a little bit of flavor text talking about that. I wonder if that is something we'll experience in one of the missions within Destiny 2, or if it's just a really cool tie-in. All I know is these Mega Construct sets are super cool. I just got some sent to me for Halo, and wow, it's way fun. I haven't had the chance to build, when I was a kid, I played with Legos a bunch, such a cool idea. But getting to do that now at this age, I was like, that was a little bit more challenging than I think it should have been at mid-20s age, going, where does that part go? There were many times I had to go back 3 steps because I used the wrong size brick. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
maybe I don't follow directions as well as I used to.
That happened to me recently as well, but it was with IKEA furniture. I used
Oh.
the wrong screws. They were exactly the same
Oh.
size, right? They were just slightly different. So I just kind of swapped them, and the dresser I have the microphone on is still standing, so I don't think it's an issue yet.
When I was at university, the last year, I had to get a new dresser, and I went the cheapest of the cheap press board, and oh my gosh, it was the leaning tower of Pisa, dude. No joke. That thing, if you sneezed on it, would fold over like an accordion. And there I was, broke college student, having to push up. In the middle of the night, it would wake me up, dude. And I'd have to go over and try and push it up and then prop all this heavy junk on it. It was, yeah. So moral of the story, guys, spend good money on drawers because it will pay off in the long run. This week at Bungie, Ditty. Man. Kind of a train wreck, but also some positives here as well. So, a lot of talk about the PC beta. The number one thing that we're really excited about is we're going to get to try a new control map in the PC beta called Javelin 4. And the PC beta, Ditty, will feature some of the changes from the feedback, right, that we gave during the console beta?
Yes, exactly. So Bungie states explicitly, and I quote, the goals for the PC beta are to test the functionality of Destiny 2 on a new platform, right? Their first jump into PC in, I think, a decade. They want to give PC players, the first taste of Destiny 2 in action, of course, and they want to leave a world of surprises, of course. And then, like you said, the changes, right? We're going to see increased super and ability regen as well, and changes to special or power ammo in both PvE and PvP. So those changes already coming in. So beta feedback, they said, that was kind of old, and we had those same ideas, and it's already been implemented. PC beta is actually going to get to try those changes.
Cool. Yeah, and we'll get to judge them accordingly. This seems a little bit closer to what we'll experience in the final build of Destiny, at least in terms of balance, hopefully, as they go through this tech test. Now, the majority of This Week at Bungie delved into the question, what will Bungie be doing to prevent online cheating in Destiny 2? A large fear for many players who are coming into the PC side of things. Our good friend Blizzard Ball put it very well this last week. You can never completely eliminate cheating on PC games online. However, what you do to mitigate it is the real heart and soul of things. So even though you can't eradicate it altogether, how well and how quickly your team moves to mitigate those problems and trying to lessen the amount of cheating, that really is the mark of a rock-solid developer for a multiplayer game. Now, Bungie is letting us know they're not going to be allowing programs like OBS and XSplit to use the game capture mode of those applications. For people who don't use OBS or XSplit to stream, at least on PC, game capture is a mode that lets a little bit of a hook into the program and allows OBS to display the game or XSplit to display the game within their client with a higher degree of performance, right? The other kind of recording or screen capture on OBS and XSplit is called just that, screen capture or window capture. And that's basically like if you were to draw a box on your screen and capture that window. That is what screen capture is, right? It's just looking at the desktop. Too. Exactly. Yeah. And generally, screen capture mode is far less performance oriented. Unless you have a really nice PC, if you're just trying to screen capture, at least with XSplit, where majority of my experience is, you will see the computer handle far worse and require way more resources than using the game capture option. The reason that Bungie has opted to do this is they want to disallow programs from getting a little bit of a hook into Destiny 2. So basically, let's say you're using Discord, Ditty, on PC, you can have an overlay feature that shows who's talking in Discord while I'm in Overwatch, right? And that shows in the upper left-hand corner. It does that through a DLL hook that basically inserts code into the program while it is running. Bungie says that this can be used maliciously to execute cheats, and our good tech friend Blizzard Ball has said that DLL hooks can be a big risk factor for games. However, when it comes to OBS and XSplit, it seems fairly uncommon that game capture is used as a platform to execute those kinds of cheats. What do you make of this, Ditty?
I think they're just trying to close as many doors and lock as many locks as they can, and just being way overly cautious because this is their first jump into the PC sphere, right? It's a big unknown for Bungie, right? Yeah. They see PC cheating happen all the time. The media blows it up. They've spoken with their developer friends over at Blizzard, I'm sure, that cheating is a thing, right? Obviously they needed some type of guidance, and they thought, well, we just don't want to run the risk. Let's just be overprotective and close that door. Even though it's a heavily guarded door, it's still a door. Stuff could still get in.
Exactly. Now, couple of other examples of programs that won't work with Destiny 2, and the help article that Bungie actually did put out stated Destiny 2, not just the Destiny 2 beta, so this looks like how it's going to be in the full release. Voice communication programs like Discord and Mumble will not have their overlays supported, and hardware monitoring programs like MSI Afterburner or Fraps, those FPS and statistic overlays, won't be able to work in addition. Now, Total Biscuit, if you guys know, awesome content creator, very respected in the PC community, tweeted out on August 4th, "Dear Bungie, stop being idiots about things. Your game isn't important enough to jump through dumb hoops for in response to these restrictions." I gotta say, Ditty, as much as I want less cheating, and as few folks as this will probably affect, I'm in Total Biscuit's camp on this one. So to sort of summarize for people who don't understand, if you want to stream the game on PC, you're going to need to use screen capture or window capture while the game is in borderless full screen, or you're going to need a capture card setup in your PC. So you'd run the HDMI out of your graphics card into, let's say, an HD60 Pro, right back into your computer, or have like a dual PC setup. This will impact streamers who have a low budget PC or even a mid budget like i5 PC. They will see less optimal performance stats while trying to stream Destiny 2 in this sphere. So that's the real conflict. It really won't affect many folks past that. NVIDIA Shadowplay and AMD Relive recording modes are supported. What do you think about this, Ditty? Do you care? Is it important?
I mean, obviously, I'm not a big streamer, right? I rarely stream ever because of my job and my free time doesn't allow for that. So it's not really going to affect me that much. But if I wanted to stream, right, those options obviously are no longer available to me. Now, granted, I might not be the best specific example because I do have a capture card. I do have the functionality to stream even with these restrictions. But if I wanted to get into streaming and I didn't have those options and I just had to use the actual game capture hook because I wanted that higher performance out of the streaming software, I can't do that anymore. Now, granted, that I have seen both sides. It's not going to affect me this much personally, so I don't really have that bad of an opinion of this because I'm just going to be like, well, I just want to play the game, right? a lot or the majority of Destiny 2 gamers are just going to want to play the game, right? Obviously, it does affect a population of streamers, that kind of thing, but not going to be the majority, and not a lot of people are going to care, in my opinion. Oh, let me say, not a lot of gamers who play Destiny 2 will be affected by this change.
Totally. I don't think that means we disregard those up-and-coming streamers who don't have the budget yet for the hardware to do this when they could. Yeah, I mean, just to put it in perspective, I can't think of another game off the top of my head in the last 4 years that I've played on the PC that didn't allow game capture in this form. It's not completely unheard of, mind you. There are more games that are going to this style of not allowing hooks into the client itself, but I did see some responses from an XSplit community manager and a couple of people more familiar with this, just saying they don't really see how the game capture hook, disabling this, will help out in the cheating realm of things. But I'll play the other side of the coin. If it does and it helps prevent cheating, awesome. And that's, I guess, where we're going to have to leave this topic for now. I think just making things more accessible to a new community who's getting access to this game for the first time, that's really important too.
And of course, just keep in mind, Destiny 2 beta on the PC goes live August 28th. Open beta is 29th of August. So be able to play it that few days. I think 3 or 4 days, I think it is. And have some fun, PC gamers. Do it.
We're looking forward to it. There's new Rockstar promotional cans that are out, Ditty, now, where you can score loot in-game. These codes unlock in-game gear, so if you buy these specific Rockstar cans that have Destiny artwork on them, you have a chance to win a limited edition game, a PlayStation 4 Pro console, or a motorcycle. It's like a dirt bike. It's really weird. Yeah, I think they're giving away 3 or 4 PlayStation 4s over the next 3 weeks or something like that, one a week. And then at the top is a dirt bike, which is super duper random. And I don't know what these, I think there's a restriction too on these in-game gear unlocks. I think you can only have 3 per week. I don't have a clue what this is, but this has been around since the dawn of time, Did you remember Halo 2?
Yeah, absolutely. Halo 2, oh my goodness. And then Halo 3 Game Fuel as well. And then obviously all the Call of Duty Mountain Dew and Doritos as well, because, double XP. And they, I remember people buying cases and just bags and bags and bags of that stuff just so they could have double XP for 4 months after the game launched. That was hilarious.
I love these, dude. These are product tie-in promotions that I enjoy. I don't know why. Now, in September... Oh, before we get there, actually, we found out that... Remember the turbine from the Homecoming mission, Ditty? The, kind of spinning honey sticks?
Yeah, the one we had to shoot the heat sinks out of or to stop it? Yeah.
That's right. Well, unfortunately, Bungie is nerfing those turbines. They're going to take away one of those honey sticks to make it a little bit easier on new players. Apparently, they looked at the stats and went, too many people died here, which... I don't know about you. I'm kind of disappointed. I liked that. Keep it hard, Bungie. Don't cater to the casuals.
Yeah, to nerf something from a beta, I don't think is good practice. See how it works at launch, but I'll be honest. I'm ashamed to admit I did have a few issues with those turbines on the Warlock because no, not the Warlock, the Titan, because Lift I just hate Lift the whole time. Warlock Blink was perfect for me. I got it. First try every single time.
I guarantee you that they have a handbook, dude, of statistics that shows if X amount of new players to the game die within the first 10 minutes, the abandonment rate goes through the roof. I'm sure it is a statistic decision that some head or manager made going, no, we save difficulty for later. So in September 6th, releasing in some countries is the limited edition PlayStation 4 controller. It is white. It is not going to be available in the UK and I think a couple other countries. Ditty, it doesn't look really good.
No, I'm going to agree. It looks like a white PS4 controller with those press-on tattoos you got to buy at the grocery store for a quarter. It doesn't look great. Now, obviously... with intense playing, I'm going to assume that gold rubs off very quickly. But I guess for the collectors out there, it will remain in the box and not be used.
Yeah. So if you're interested in it, you can check out our website, destinytheshow.com, for a link to what it looks like. And unfortunately, if you're in the UK, get wrecked. Sorry. This must be, we just had a bunch of extra white controllers laying around, so we'll throw some etched gold onto it or whatever. There are, by the way, PlayStation 4 bundles for Destiny 2. There's a black one and a white one. They're not meant to be like the collector's edition of the Taken King, which looked really, really good. They're just meant to be console bundles. And I think I don't know the dates those will be available. Probably Destiny 2 launch, but anyway, best news of the week, Ditty, has to do with no what?
No delayed DLC on the PC. Yes.
That is good news.
Yeah, people were very concerned that since the PC launch was delayed, that means all the DLC would be delayed, and that would have been super unfortunate. That is not the case. Bungie confirmed DLC for PC will come out at the exact same time as DLC for console, which is actually very good news.
That is, thank goodness. We were really worried about that delayed PC release, what it was going to do to the communities, if it was going to separate them by a month and a half, the whole first year of Destiny 2. Thank goodness that is not the case.
We still don't know about a first raid launch yet, though. Yeah, I mean, obviously with a month or two delay between the console and PC launch, might be a gap there in terms of the raid content, but after that, I'm not going to see any gap there. That's nice.
We did see the Activision Blizzard earnings call that came out this last week, and I got to admit, we've looked into these earnings calls now for 2.5 years, and so you sort of see the same pattern over and over again. It really just becomes a cheerleading fest. A few standouts to me. I think Crash Bandicoot was the number one selling game in June, the Insane Trilogy, which made me really happy. I'm going to look that up real quick. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, best-selling physical game globally in June. That's really nice. I hope that means we have the ideas for more of these remastered things, like a Spyro trilogy would be awesome, or just a new Crash game altogether. They did note that Destiny 2 pre-orders have, I think, surpassed Destiny 1 pre-orders at this point, which, wow. Did you see that coming?
Yeah, I mean, it's very rare, I think, that sequels don't surpass the pre-order of their predecessor. I think maybe one of the more recent Call of Duties didn't make it, but it's just whenever I see those numbers, I'm like, okay, they did it again. Great. Good job.
That's right. And also, there were more beta participants in the Destiny 2 beta than there were in Destiny 1. We'll get the official numbers probably in a few weeks, but yeah, that's nice.
The number I'm impressed about. I'm like, wow, people came back and wanted to try it again. More people wanted to try it. That's good news, I think.
Indeed, indeed. Now, Bungie's going to be at Gamescom, which is coming up here on the 23rd and 26th of August, so just a couple of days before we're getting our hands on the PC beta. That, Ditty, is going to be a real telling experience. What is left for them to show? They've been very guarded about, like you said, raid details and information there. Activision keeps pointing out in the press how important to them long-term DLC plans are. I saw an article this morning saying they think the DLC matters just as much as the initial release of the game, which are all great attitudes. They've enlisted Vicarious Visions and High Moon Studios to help carry along content. What do you think we'll see from Gamescom?
Honestly, nothing we haven't seen before. Maybe the new Javelin map. Maybe they'll have the current PC beta build playable there, because that's just a few days before the PC beta comes out. I think maybe we'll see some footage of Javelin. That would be really, really cool. I don't think we'll see any details about the DLC or the raid there at all.
I think you're completely right. The raid matters a lot to both you and I.
Yes.
And I hope that portion of the game is just rock solid. My favorite memories of Destiny 1, it's still Vault of Glass. It's still Crota's End. And it's still Wrath of the Machine. Yes, I enjoyed King's Fall.
King's Fall? No.
King's Fall, I have both good and horrible memories of 2.5 hours in and the stupid platform's breaking because of the lag. We're doing it right, and it's too late, and one member's got to go to bed, and the other one's getting a bad attitude, and you're just like, oh, King's Fall!
Yeah, I always have to apologize to my raid groups at the end, because when I get frustrated, I just stop talking. If you haven't heard me talk in 10 minutes... I'm pissed.
You're just preventing a rage mode Ditty pop-off. I know the feels, and I bet our listeners, that is one thing Destiny players can relate with. This fight has gone on for way too long. We are way too good to keep tripping up on this stupid mechanic. Why is Bob doing that? And you start just really developing a lot of resentment for your teammates, you know?
Yeah, 6 hours at Golgoroth was rough.
On launch day, yeah.
When King's Fall came out, man, it was 6-7 hours. We were at Golgoroth because we just couldn't sync up, and it was like, man, we should have just had the one bubble strap at that point. Like, we should have just figured it out. But man,
everybody's gotten
those. I hope
those.
to see about the raids in Destiny 2 is fluidity, right? A really big arch over the story, right? Not just the one single side mission, basically, that Destiny 1 had, right? Vault of Glass was mentioned barely in some of the story missions, and then it was just like its own standalone thing, and then never again, right? I want to see something relating into the universe a little bit better, which I think we'll see this time around, hopefully. Like, Taken King had story mode, Oryx was the big boss, and then the raid was Oryx again. That was super cool. That was a really good step in the right direction. I hope we see more of that.
I totally agree, Ditty. I sent you a screenshot one time when I was playing WoW. I think there's a raid at the end of Cataclysm. I didn't play Cata. I played in between that, Lich King and then Mists. So there's a raid when the players beat it, like the giant ghost of a big dragon appears in the main city of Stormwind, and he just floats over it for, I don't know, like an hour or something. And it's just really cool because it's like, oh, real world reactions to what the players actually did. And I think you want to see more of that when we take down this giant person, more so than a couple of dialogue changes in the tower. It would be nice to see how that actually really influences the plot moving forward.
Yeah, 100% agree. Like you said, let's do more than just the dialogue changes, please. Like, actually make some better visual improvements to the world. Like, when we defeated Siva, we should have seen way less Siva in the patrol. Like, that should have done it, right? That would have been dynamic. I think that would have been perfect.
I agree fully. Where can people find your content?
Twitter.com/Ditty, DTS, DITTY, DTS, and YouTube.com/Wooshness, WOOOSHNESS.
You can find all the links from today and more on our website, DestinyTheShow.com. Please follow us on Twitter @DestinyTheShow to be notified when the latest shows go live. You can follow me @BBKDRAGOON on both YouTube and Twitter. Have an amazing week, Guardians, and we'll see you next time.